Thank you guys so much for coming to my presentation. As you all know, it's the 9 to 11:30, the 9 to 10:30 slot. And we're gonna be covering music, mental health, and wellness. My name is Bianca A. Brown, or BB, whatever bakes your potato, and I am the TAY program coordinator at Peers. So just so that you guys are aware, we do take in data. We are collecting our data using our intake forms and our evaluations. This is important because we need to process all this information for our annual reports, et cetera, et cetera. So we want to make sure that everybody is counted for, and Casey will be sending out all that information. So now we're gonna go ahead and check in, and I'm gonna introduce myself and tell you a little bit about who I am. So I was born and raised in the Bay Area, and I had a nomadic lifestyle with my mom. So we moved everywhere within the Bay. And unfortunately, I dealt with bullying throughout both middle school and high school. I didn't know why, I just dealt with it. And then shortly after, at the age of 20, I was diagnosed with depression and social anxiety. And before I received that diagnosis, I didn't even know how bad I was dealing with these things. And it made me more aware of, like, people could be suffering and not even know how bad they're suffering. And so ways that I manage this diagnosis is I tell myself it's not all of me. It's not going to be the final nail in the coffin for me. I utilize music, roller skating, and art as an outlet for my trauma, and just the overall stress from day-to-day life. So yeah, in 2019, July of 2019, I helped support my friend starting her nonprofit called Girls in Nature. That same month, I was about to graduate from my tech program Year Up, and I had a change of heart about a week before graduation. I'm like, I can somewhat get involved with tech, but this is not where my heart is. And I loved doing what my friend was doing. And so I said, I want to get involved in nonprofit work. I don't know how, I don't know where I'm going to start, but I just know that this is where I need to be. And so I found employment with an amazing organization called Peers. I started in September of 2019, and as of last week, I've been promoted to the program coordinator. So I went from an assistant to coordinator. So really excited about that. And now to talk just a little bit about the TAY program at Peers. First off, who we are as an organization. We're a diverse community of people with mental health experiences. And so our mission is just to promote innovative peer-based wellness strategies. And so by creating these culturally rich, community-based mental health programs, we're honoring people's diverse experiences while also eliminating that discrimination and stigma in the process. And so, excuse me, two ways that Peers does that. First, they don't call mental illness because it blocks both the consumer and the people outside of them from fully understanding their mental health challenge, which is why we call it mental health challenges. It's less demeaning. And when you tell somebody like, oh, you're ill, oh, you're sick, you're actually causing more of a detriment than a benefit to their mental health. And so part two of how we, advocate for the elimination of stigma is we're a peer-run organization. And so if you're wondering what that is, it just means that we are mental health consumers helping other people within our community who have mental health challenges. And the reason why, Peers is in existence and why we hire people with these, mental health challenges is because we want to show that people who are deemed outcast or people who are deemed by society as degenerate or detriment or just anything negative, we're showing them like we can be useful, conductive members of society just like everybody else. And so with that being said, I want to transition into the TAY program. And so this is the program that I coordinate and I lead, and we have weekly leadership groups, and they're for 16 to 24-year-olds. And we have community events, internships, and education training centered around Alameda County's behavioral health 5 pillars of care. So the 5 pillars, as you can see below: whole health and wellness, education, housing, career and financial wellness, and lastly, community connections. And so I wanted to jump into this icebreaker. Some of you from the comments have already posted your songs, and I went ahead and copied them into there. If I haven't gotten everybody's, I apologize, but just due to time, I want to make sure that we move on to the next portions of the slideshow and the activities. So just to summarize what I have, so I said California Soul is a really, really nostalgic, happy, and lively song, and it makes me feel all 3 of those emotions. Jonathan Gibbs said he loved the song Unity because it makes him feel powerful and inspired. Tom Walker says, leave the light on. Mandy listens to Journeys faithfully, and it makes her feel fulfilled with her relationships. Suni listens to Roar by Katy Perry. And then lastly, Sharon, Color My World, Chicago. So again, I want to say thank you to everybody that participated, and to everybody that I did not read off, or if I didn't post your name in the comments. Again, it's nothing personal, and I appreciate you for just being present. So thank you again. So now leading into what is music therapy. So it's a clinical and evidence-based use of music interventions to accomplish individualized goals within a therapeutic relationship by a credentialed professional who has completed an approved music therapy program. So it's designed to manage your stress levels, alleviate pain, express your feelings, enhance memory, improve your communication, and promote wellness and, physical rehabilitation. And so the mission of the American Music Therapy Association, which is established a little over 20 years ago, they want to advance the public awareness of the benefits of it, also increasing the access to quality music therapy services. And if you're really curious about, more about what they do, this is the FAQ page. So it's just musictherapy.org /FAQ/#42. And I'll go ahead and post this in the chat for you guys, so you guys can see what that looks like. Yeah, so basically it's just an alternative way of healing and mending trauma. And so let's get into some music therapy facts. So I'm about to stop the video for a moment. And so some of the facts that I gathered was from www.healthline.com. So music is a non-invasive, safe, cheap intervention that should be available to everyone undergoing surgery. And this was a quote directly from Catherine Meads. She's a PhD of Brunel University in the UK. And so another one was from The Lancet, and this was a 2015 review that found that people who listened to music before, during, or after surgery experienced less pain and anxiety compared to patients who did not listen to the music at all. The music listeners didn't even need as much pain medication. And to conduct the study, researchers looked at data from 73 different trials involving more than 7,000 patients. And so researchers have pondered the possible therapeutic and mood boosting benefits of music for centuries. So even sad songs can bring pleasure and comfort for some listeners. And this was done by recent research from Durham University in the UK. And this was published in the article called Plus One. So it also said that it found that some people really got repulsed by sad music because it caused negative feelings of sadness and profound grief. And so there was a study done from the University from the Bournemouth University of Dementia Institute, BUDI or Buddy in Dorset, UK. And they said that the music may bring greater health benefits. Creating it can be an effective therapy too. So there was a unique orchestra for people with dementia, and it helped improve their mood and boost their self-confidence greatly. So yeah, that's just the impact on how music can really benefit us psychologically. And so, with that being said, music is so much more than just a 3-minute song that you listen to. It's a form of communication. It's one of those languages that everybody seems to understand. It's as diverse as a painter's palette, and it also has the power to build and influences communities that are near and abroad. Music is the needle, drink, or any other kind of vice that storytellers use to express their torment. It is a tool used to report one's immediate environment and the injustices that follow it. It's both a political and personal statement. It's therapy, and it's pivotal for our survival and the survival of our legacies. Also, it slaps. So let's now talk about music's impact on plants. So the music that you hear in the background, this was actually produced by Morton S. Garson. And so he is a Canada-born composer, arranger, songwriter, and pioneer of electronic music. He is best known for his albums in the 1960s and 70s that were among the first to feature Moog synthesizers. He also co-wrote several hit songs, including Our Day Will Come, a hit by Ruby and the Romantics, and in his album Plantasia, which you're listening to right now. He also produced it for the sole purpose of providing plants with music to aid in their development and just overall enrichment. And so that's what's really cool about that. So this is the album. There was also a doctor by the name of T.C. Singh, and he was head of the botany department at India's Annamalai University, and he experimented with the effect of musical sounds on the growth rate of plants. And so his findings, he saw that balsam plants grew at a rate that accelerated by 20% in height and 72% in biomass when exposed to classical and Indian raga music. Singh repeated the experiment with field crops using a particular type of raga played through a gramophone and loudspeakers. The size of the crops increased to and between 25 and 60%, which was above the regional average. And so he had several experiments, and Singh concluded that the sound of the violin has the greatest effect on plant growth. He also experimented on the effects of vibrations caused by barefoot dancing. After exposure to dancers performed Bharata, if I'm butchering this, I'm so sorry. Bharata Natyam, which is India's most ancient dance style with no musical accompaniment, and several flowering plants, including the petunias and marigolds, flowered 2 weeks earlier than the other population that didn't experience the barefoot dancing session. And so this was all information found from www.urbanmail.com. So yeah, that's just a little bit about how music can impact plants. So now let's go ahead and get into the blues. We got some people in the chat. Incredible, amazing. I would have never thought that. One thing that's gonna really throw you guys off, the whole reason why I got the idea to include plants, I was watching a TV show called Jimmy Neutron, and the kids were experimenting with plants and music. I'm like, that's bananas. Nobody is really doing that in real life. And then my brain was like, but are you sure though? And so I went on Google and I Googled, music affects plants. And from there, I found some real life research. So yeah, that's how that came about. But anyways, let me go ahead and go back to the blues. So this is a music genre that pioneered mainstream radios for decades to come. And so Christine says, love me some blues. I feel it. So though the blues certainly aren't limited to like songs about getting left by a woman or shooting a man somewhere in Memphis, you'd be hard pressed to find a blues tune in which the vocalist is boasting about having, you know, a good life, good fortune, and it's just a simple no. Like the blues is exactly what it sounds like, the blues. And so by definition, the whole genre is based on being in a state of agitation or depression. And so the original blues were sung in the cotton fields of plantations by African American slaves. And they were sung to ease the burden of work for spiritual reasons or as a lamentation of hardship and trauma. And so though the Mississippi Delta blues were born after slavery was abolished, the lives of African Americans remained extremely difficult. They faced racism and financial instability. And also Delta blues musicians therefore retained elements of their ancestor songs, singing about poverty, homesickness, and loss. Making music can be like shooting positive vibes into the world. Delta Blues by Robert Johnson, great album. Thank you for your comment, Travis. As a musician, I know exactly what that feels like. So again, either if you are a musician or aren't a musician, everybody gets affected by music in some kind of way. And so with that being said, that actually led into the development of other music genres such as psychedelic rock and the early stages of hip hop. Now, what makes these two genres very special is, remember how earlier I said music is not just a personal statement, it's also a political statement too. It's a reflection of the world around you. That's what these two genres did. So let's jump into psychedelic rock. Over here, we got Mr. Jimi Hendrix and the lovely Janis Joplin. And so it was popularized in the late 1960s, and it was really inspired by like hallucinogens or so-called mind-expanding drugs, such as weed, marijuana, LSD, which is also known as acid. And so that reflected drug-induced states through the use of feedback, electronics, and in intense volume. So, you know, psychedelic rock definitely opened up a space for people to try these mind-altering philosophies and drugs and things like that, but it was also a reflection of what was going on with all the war and turmoil that, you know, the world was going through at the time. And so about 20 years later, we have the crack epidemic, which plagued a lot of African American communities in the 80s. So you had a lot of originators in this subgenre called gangster rap, like Ice-T and NWA. They expressed both their personal trials and tribulations. And again, they pioneered this subgenre, and hip hop is nearly modern day blues in a lot of different ways. And the purpose of hip hop is to portray and communicate the chaos in one's own life and community. I probably should have added this in, but there's this one guy, his name is Lecrae, and he has a TED Talk. And he talks about, is hip hop the cancer or the cure? And it's just basically a conversation about how hip hop has been both a help in organizing and talking about our social movements and struggles, but it's also been a detriment to our culture because of a lot of the misogyny and problematic lyrics that are inside of it. And so that prompts me more with this conversation about the 27s Club. So there's this thing now with cancel culture and celebrities being problematic. The truth is, celebrities, just like everybody else on the planet, are problematic. All of these people that you see before you are part of this 27s Club. And the 27s Club is unique because all of these stars have died right before the age of 30 at the age of 27. And what's interesting is that they all either suffered from some kind of addiction, they had a lot of trauma, but they were able to transform those emotions back to what Travis was saying about how it's shooting positivity out into the world. Whether you're talking about your own traumas, tribulations, paranoia, anything negative, when you turn it into a medium that has to do with music, whether it's, you know, irritating to some people, that story might be the words that somebody else couldn't put in for themselves. And so music is often a reflection of the torment that we're going through. And as a musician, I think it's our jobs to report on the world around us, but the world within us. And so much love to these amazing artists and pioneers. And yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and move forward with the rise of sad rap. So this is how hip hop of modern day got the blues. And so this was from the article The Guardian, and this was a direct quote. It says, rap is often blamed for glamorizing gang culture, but a study analyzing lyrics from America's Billboard Hot 100 chart shows that this is actually providing a vivid commentary on social angst, malice, and mental health. And so with that being said, let's get into these stats. So the data was amassed from lyrics and songs featured in the end of the year charts from 1958 to the year 2017. They used a computer program called TextBlob. And so all it does is it reveals the most popular music genre in the US, but it also shows that it's also its most depressed. And so the study was run by a marketing agency called Take 5, and they found that 24 out of the 100 singles overall across both rock, pop, and hip hop in 1958 mentioned mental health, compared with 71 in 2017. So you literally see like 3 times more songs are mentioning mental health than ever before. The data also backs the huge popularity of what has been dubbed SoundCloud rap, which is an offshoot described by the New York Times in 2017 as the most vital and disruptive new movement in hip hop. So Dr. Ad Carson, he's a professor of hip hop and the Global South at Virginia University. He believes that hip hop has always articulated pain and anguish, but that as the cultural conversation around mental health has shifted and the language has changed, so has rap music. And so with that being said, I think that, you know what, I'm not even gonna give my personal opinion. I actually kind of wanna open it up to you guys to see if anybody has any comments on like, oh, do you listen to hip hop music? You know, why do you listen to hip hop music, or what kind of music genre do you listen to in general? And do you think that it's been more detrimental to mental health or more helpful to mental health, and just why? I hope that question made sense. So I'm gonna see if I can type it out. So I typed out the question, but just to restate it in a more clear way. Wait, why did it send to Terrence? It's supposed to send to everybody. Sorry, Terrence. Let me try this again. Okay, so what music genres do you feel like have a positive and negative impact on your mental health, and why? And I'm gonna go ahead and read down. So Christine says, I just love music as a form of individual expression of the human condition. I think all forms of music are expressing a voice. It doesn't mean I like or agree with all of it, but I think everyone, and then it just cuts off. Everyone's personal voice should be validated. Okay, thank you, Christine. And then Mandy says, not to add too much personal opinion, but I listen to a lot of jazz and Christian music. To me, both add peace to my mental health. I feel it. Let's see if we got anybody else. Alex just says, music has always been a huge therapy for me. And then Tina also says, if anybody has been to New Orleans, the walk is amazing, hearing the blues. I've never been, but I always wanted to go. I'm actually thinking about moving down there, but rent out there is crazy too. So I don't know, we'll see. 6 new messages, let's see. So Heather says, I have different genres that I listen to for different moods, okay. Terrence says, I love all music depending on my mood and what I'm going through. Travis says, the whole hip hop movement has been tremendously positive for me. Like you said, if it wasn't for rap music, I probably wouldn't be here. I think making music that talks about this social anguish is very important because it helps to connect us. I think conscious rap is positive and rarely misogynistic. There is a subset of rap that doesn't have a clear message and the lyrics are kind of frivolous. That is true. I mean, I think that one thing that people do, and this is in response to Travis's comment, I think that what people do is they classify hip hop as just an all consuming genre when there's subgenres even within that. You know, you have gangster rap, conscious rap, you have SoundCloud rap, which is just like 2016 and on, basically, with the face tattoos and all that madness. People putting ice cream cones and lightning bolts on your face. But if that's your thing, then that's your thing, you know? But my point to that was there's so many different subgenres, and I feel like hip hop has been demonized as just one negative thing when that's not all it is. Mindy, you said it really depends on the song, regardless of the genre. Jacob says he really loves rock. It has always felt more raw and honest. Jimmy says music heals the soul, period. Let's see. Well, we got a lot of messages coming in. I listen to a variety of music. This is from Alex, depending on what I'm feeling. Could be from old school musical music to 90s to today. Feel it. Jimmy says that classical calms, jazz match with the chows in my head, sometimes helping me to make sense of my own story. Chaos, not chows. I was like, chow, are you eating food? Like, what's going on? But yeah, thank you for clarifying. Heather says, I think the most therapeutic form of music I can listen to is anything that I can sing to. I feel that. I can recognize a notable difference in my mood when I have gone several days without giving myself time to belt it out at the top of my lungs. Sean says, I almost only listen to female vocalists because they're more in tune with their emotions, and I like artists that tell the truth about where they're at. Nina Simone, Joni Mitchell, Jenny Lewis, Stevie Nicks, Erykah Badu, etc. Sonia says, I listen to everything. It all makes me feel various types of ways. Some take me back, but it all makes me feel good. So I'm going to go ahead and close out the messages for right now. If I did not capture what you said, again, I apologize and I appreciate you for participating. But yeah, thank you guys for answering that question. And so now I wanted to jump into an activity, and right now it's 9:45, so we should be finished at 10:05, 10:10. So you'll need only a pen and paper or a phone and tablet or just yourself. And so we're going to be doing an exercise with writing while listening to the Plantasia album, which you guys heard a little bit earlier, a couple of slides back when we were talking about music and plants. So you can feel free to relax and meditate while listening to the music if you don't feel moved to write. The idea is just to provide a 20-minute uninterrupted group therapy to everybody that's present. So essentially, we're participating in music therapy right now. After our 20-minute session, we will come back together, and if you'd like to share what you've written, the space is yours. We're going to take 10 minutes for reflections, and then during this time, if you wish to stay on or leave the call after the activity, that's perfectly fine. Like, and by the way, like leave, I don't mean click exit out. Like if you just want to sit your phone down and wander about, you could do whatever you want to do during this 20 minutes, whatever makes you feel happy. And then just please be sure to fill out the intake and evaluation forms if you haven't already. So I'm gonna play the Plantasia music on my other computer so you guys can hear it better. Give me 2 seconds, please. Okay. Okay, so now it's been exactly 20 minutes. So coming back to the discussion, I see there's a couple people in the chat. So we're gonna go ahead and exit out here and move forward with the next part of this activity, which is just sharing out. So please feel free to share any reflections from the meditation / writing session. Did you write anything? Were you inspired to do something else? Were you inspired to just starfish on your couch and just relax? Like, any and all answers are acceptable, and I'd like to hear from y'all. So let's see. All right, so Mindy says, just want to say that this has been the best workshop I have attended so far. Oh, Mindy, got to make me cry. 2 tears only though, because I got to keep going. But but thank you so much. Alex says, agreed. I've really enjoyed this workshop. Oh my gosh, I'm happy. Like, I'm just happy because I was nervous. I'm like, I hope it clicks. Cara says, I feel so rejuvenated. The drastic tone changes, low to high very quickly, imitated and felt like growth. I could recognize the urge to move my own body to match the energy of the song. Maybe I am a plant deep down. We are all plants. I'm like 5'10", so I'm a tree. I already know that. So I don't know the type of tree. I don't know. I'm just a tree because I'm tall and I love it. But yes, we are all plants deep down, and we are all more connected than we think. Tammy says that I agree, Cara. I found I needed to move my body. Mandy says this is rejuvenating, makes my insides feel happy. John says very relaxing. Terrence agrees. Carmody, I believe I pronounced that correctly. Carmody or Carmody. If I got it right, please let me know. If not, tell me so I can like pronounce it correctly, because this is your name. This is very peaceful and relaxing. Tina says, I have to admit I have ADHD and get distracted. LOL, that's okay. That is okay. We are not here to stigmatize anybody. If you were able to get something out of it for the time that you got out of it, that's cool. If not, that's cool too. Different folks, different strokes. Sharon says, very relaxing and soothing. Tammy says, I made a gratitude list while listening to the music. Let's go. Denise, oh, I met you just up in the little networking thing. Bianca, did you leave your contact information? I'll throw that in at the last slide. Mandy says, it reminds me of Mike Oldfield's Tubular Bells, which is not as mellow, but offers the same experiences. I'm about to highlight, copy, new tab, because I'd like to get into it. So I'll look at that later. Thank you, Mandy. Suni says, I knew I would like this session. Oh. Travis says, it reminded me of video game music. You stop out of town to rest and it plays silly music. It reminds me of Wii music. I don't know if you've ever went into the Wii shop part of the Wii game, and it's like, it was giving me video game too, very much video game music. Brian with the Y says it was very settling. It was a very settling experience. John says that it was well worth my time. Great presentation. Oh, 5 paragraphs. Perfect flow. No writer's block. I'm really excited about this. It's hard to write without an emotional charge, and music is so much better than the darkness of depression and addiction. Come through, Jenny. Denise says, Denise says, I just loved you and thank you for showing up and sharing your love of music with us. Ooh, yes, wonderful presentation. I fell asleep, which is exactly what I needed. I'm not even gonna tell y'all a fib. I was kind of dozing off too, because that's what this music does to me. But then that alarm was like, Bianca, no, this is not the time. So yeah, it's a lot of different impacts that this music has on people. Sean says, I was walking and smelled jasmine in my neighborhood and listening to this music. It was a magical experience. Kathleen says, did not care for the music at all. I put laundry away. And that is okay too, Kathleen, and I appreciate your Carmody. Okay, so I got it right. And I appreciate your honesty, Kathleen, because you know, again, different folks have different strokes. Lori says, I love the visuals with the music. Christina says, perfect way to start my morning. Love the music and love the workshop. It reminded me of Fantasia, which brought back memories of childhood because I used to watch it all the time as a kid. I just closed my eyes and relived the visuals and the peaceful feelings of being a child without a care in the world. Wow, that's really beautiful, Heather, and thank you for sharing. Let's see, Tammy says, I really love the presentation. So amazing what music does. Glad I was in your presentation. Thank you. Haha, I'm 6'1". I'm more of a tree than a plant. I really enjoyed the presentation. Thanks. Shout out to all the trees out there, all my tall people out there. And so since we got a couple more minutes, I really appreciated everybody for sharing out. Being that I am a musician, I play and I sing and I write songs about what it's like being a mental health consumer. And so with that being said, I'm going to take 2 seconds just to set up my keyboard. And this is only going to be like a 1-2 minute song. And I'll introduce it once everything is ready. So give me 2 seconds. Thank you. Okay, hello? Can you guys hear me? Just let me know.
Hear you.
Oh, Okay. Cool. All right. So I'm gonna see if I could start my video. Actually, no, because I'll get more nervous. But so as I've stated, music is a form of communication. It's a political and personal statement. It's a form of therapy. It's a universal language. It's diverse. It is the device that storytellers use to express their torment. It's just a tool that's used for all of us, both plants and humans alike. And so with that said, part of my therapy as a mental health consumer with social anxiety and depression, I use that tool. And so this song is called Dear Anxiety, and I wrote this. So appreciate me. Thank you. Okay. Here we go. Dear anxiety, when will you let me be? When will you let me go? I need to be alone from you. Dear anxiety, I don't walk steady. Thoughts are too heavy. I'm feeling shaky and now I can't speak. How can I be an extrovert? Yet I just seem to feel so awkward. I hope the impressions I make don't leave a bad taste. I'm always worried about the wrong things, and the right things don't seem to find me. Oh, dear anxiety, dear anxiety. Dear anxiety. So yeah, it's still a little bit unfinished, working on the second verse or whatever. But I don't know, I might be done. I never know with these things. But yeah, that was my song, Dear Anxiety. I talk about how like people can be ambiverts or extroverts and still deal with it. It's not just limited to introverted people. During the whole duration of this presentation, I'm like fidgeting with the little pipe cleaners that they sent us in the box, along with the snazzy t-shirt and stuff, because it just helps my mind stay active while not getting reactive and overactive. So yeah, thank you so much, you guys, for listening and being present. Go ahead and check in with the chat. Ooh, 24 comments. Oh God, I gotta read through it. It's a lot, and they keep coming in. Let's see. Okay, where do we start? Let's see. Purpose, plan, and action. Are you going to the open mic on Thursday, Bianca? Yeah, I just found out about it a couple of days ago, and I registered, and I'm like, I want to do that because I got some other stuff that I want to talk about. Thank you guys so much for the support. Oh my God, goosebumps and tears. Don't cry. I don't have no tissue for you. Oh my gosh. Thank you for sharing who you are and providing us with such useful, of course. All right. I want to perform too. I believe that there's a link. I actually found it when I searched Pure Apocalypse on Google, and then it was like a link to like the talent show. But you could follow up with Casey. She definitely has more information about how to like direct you there. So yeah. Oh my God, please don't cry, y'all. I don't have no tissue. I can't hug nobody. I can't see y'all. I feel, ooh, don't tell me that. But yeah, I'm really happy that y'all all enjoyed the song and the presentation. And thank you guys for, the support. I actually am still in the process of writing it. And part of my journey has been like buying my own studio equipment because I want to have complete control over this. Another aspect to mental health on a personal level is like the reason why I'm taking the independent route is because as a woman, trying to do music, whether it's full time, part time on the side, there's always going to be people who tell you that, oh, your voice would sound better with this, or you should do this, or you have to give me something in exchange for that, or you have to pay me in order to use my studio equipment, but I'm going to charge you more than other people. I got tired of jumping through loopholes and hula hoops for people that really didn't have my best intention. I said, well, I have my best intentions. I know myself better than anybody here, and I have to get to know how to do the studio stuff and figuring out the technology and saving for it. And so I did it, and now I'm in the process of doing that. So when I do plan on dropping music, I plan on doing what I just did now, which is just connecting with y'all about my mental health as a consumer, um, mental health as somebody who has family members who are consumers, friends, and just people in society. We're starting to have this conversation more. And much to Travis's comment earlier, when you make music about what's going on in your life, whether positive or negative, it's always going to shoot a ray of positivity out in the world. And that's my goal. So yeah, word to Sharon, be you. That's all I can be. Yeah. Casey says, I will be emceeing the event. So I would love to introduce some of you all. Yeah, so follow up with Casey on that. And also I'm gonna go ahead and link you with my contact information. So it's gonna be down here. Let me just email B Brown. That's not how you spell Brown. At peersnet.org. Google Voice. And if you want to shoot me like a quick text or whatever, you can reach me at my Google Voice, which is 314-478. I should really know my phone number, my work phone number, 4774. You know what? Just hit me up on the email because I got to double back and double check and all this other stuff. And plus, I'm more reachable via email than on Google phones because I get notifications for my email, but not for my Google Voice number, which is weird. So yeah, if anybody is wondering how to get in contact with me, that's the email. We got about 7 minutes left of this presentation. Again, please fill out the intake forms and the evaluation forms. All of this is really important because this is how my organization tracks information. Casey just sent the intake form in the chat. Thank you again. And yeah, everybody should have access to it. If not, please let me know and I'll go ahead and fix the settings. So Tina says, thank you for sharing your story and experience. Of course, I mean, that's what Peerpocalypse is for. I'm sorry, I'm just reading through the comments. Inspiring. So Heather says, amazing, inspiring, makes me want to pick back up the notebook and write. I get so caught up in the day-to-day that I forget how therapeutic it is to put words on paper and let them flow from the soul. Yes. Heather, I definitely believe that this is a true testament to anybody. If somebody has the passion, the willingness, and the creativity, nothing and nobody will stop you from doing what you need to do. Not even a busy schedule, not even having children or having to run out and do errands, which it is a time consuming process. But when you love something and when you're passionate about something and you got some kind of torment happening internally and you need to get it out on paper, you're going to find time to support yourself and support your wellness. So yeah, use your wellness tools to the best of your advantage. Chris says, So is everybody just crying? Because Chris is like, I got a little teary-eyed, but in a good cathartic way. Thanks so much for sharing. You're welcome, Chris. Again, y'all don't cry because I don't have no tissues. Don't do it. All right. I want to make sure I got any other comments. Shout out to Jimmy for the emojis and all the hearts and stuff. Back at you. Thanks for sharing your gifts with us. Thank you, Sean. Julia, thank you. And yeah, and Denise, I put down the email if you need it. So, and that's for anybody who wants to get in contact with me, know a little bit more about peers. I got you. Yeah, I think we're all caught up. So with all of that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and not end it, but I'm gonna close out and I'm gonna go ahead and pass it over to Casey if there's any closing remarks that you have.
Thank you so much, Bianca. Yeah, not really. I posted a couple times in the chat the link to sign up for Peer Apocalypse has Got Talent. If you guys want to sign up for that, it's just our homepage of Peer Apocalypse, and you'll just scroll down a little bit and you'll see the sign up there. And as Bianca mentioned, the intake form and the evaluation form are at the beginning and the ends of the chat as well. So yeah, that's all. That's all I've got. So if you guys want to hang out for a few minutes, we can chat and kind of connect. Thank you so much, Bianca. I think that was quite the hit.
All right. You know, I had to get a couple swigs of tea in during the little meditation session because I was like, you will not be cracking today. Not today. So got that together. Thank you again, Terrence, for putting out my email. And yeah.
So I just want to say thank you, Bianca. You did a great job.
Thank you so much, Lori. Lori or Lori?
Laurie.
Laurie. Okay. Thank you so much.
I too want to say thank you, Bianca. That was really beautiful and empowering. And I'm thinking about how I can write my recovery story down and share it in a form of a song. That was awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I mean, any medium, whether it's painting, writing, music, acting, share your story, share your voice, because how many times has the world or people around you or even yourself tried to silence you from being honest? Everybody deserves a bit of freedom. Everybody deserves to share their voice. So I heavily encourage you, Tammy, and I encourage everybody here, like, do you.
Thank you.
Of course.
I'm married to an artist who really has found herself in her own art through recovery. And it's amazing seeing that transformation of someone who struggled, then, found that outlet, and everybody's different.
Mm-hmm.
Once you find that, go with it and don't let anybody tell you can't do it.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I mean, I feel like as an artist, it's kind of our job to be the voice for the voiceless sometimes, and we have a tendency to be like really empathetic, which can be both a detriment and a benefit. It's a detriment sometimes because if you don't know how to understand emotional boundaries, you can find yourself going through and feeling the same exact energy that another person is dealing with, or a situation, world events happening right now. That's what our job is just to report on the inner and outer chaos of the world, all the while trying not to get sucked into all of the emotional feelings and feelings of hopelessness. And it's really hard trying to create hope in a hopeless situation. But I applaud you. I applaud your wife. And shout out to her. Tell her to keep going, keep doing it. And most importantly, art is not always for other people. It starts with yourself too. So, you know, even if I have only 2 people that listen to this EP, that was for me and those 2 people, and that's okay.
I think you'll find a lot more now.
Oh,
Sample.
I hope so, because I'm like trying to figure out how to engineer, produce everything. Like I'm doing everything myself.
I could ask this in chat, but I was going to ask, do you have any sort of social media for your music page?
So I have an Instagram. It's called SYZYGY. I'm gonna just put it in the chat because that's a lot.
Thank you.
So it's Zizagy, which is like a really weird word, but Zizagy_333 is my Instagram. So you guys go ahead and hit me up and follow me. I will be coming out with a YouTube page sometime within the next month, definitely before the end of August. So all of that information about my YouTube will be posted on my Instagram. Also, if you just want to follow up with me, you know, just check in, tell me about your own personal experiences with mental health. Shoot, maybe we could collaborate and write a poem about it or just do something. Everybody deserves to have an outlet. And again, I want to connect with you guys. So yeah. Also, some of y'all could be my new subscribers. So, I sent it to you, Terrence. Why does it keep sending everything to you? I don't understand. G_333. There we go. All right, but I'm gonna go ahead and close out. It's now 10:32, and I got a meeting in a couple minutes, work related. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys go. It's been real, it's been fun, it's been real fun. Again, hit me up on Instagram. You guys have my work email, and stay tuned for more updates.